Hi, and welcome back to the channel. It's April 8th up here in Minnesota. We're still struggling to get out of winter. Just going back here to check on the Grand Design to see if the snow's melted enough for me to pull it out of the backyard, but I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. I think we need another week of melt. Anyways, if you saw our last video, you'll know that we added a second camper to our fleet, a 2021 Flagstaff 21DS. We actually bought it at the RV show back in February, and the dealer's been kind enough to store it at their lot until we were ready to pick it up. And today is the day. So we're gonna go jump in the truck and head out to Camping World up in Hugo and pick up our new rig. Well, we bought the RV at the show at the beginning of February. We did have a follow-up appointment at the dealership a couple weeks later. That was for our final walkthrough. We had an RV tech come out and show us all the ins and outs of the camper, answered any questions that we had. And then there was some final paperwork that we had to sign as well. But today should be a really quick in and out. We're here just to pick up the camper. All right, just pulling in here. I don't think this should take too long. We did our financing paperwork at the RV show, and then we had a follow-up appointment at the dealership. So this should just be a quick hitch up and go. But I got to go in and see if they have our license plates though. All right, not quite the quick pickup I thought it was going to be. Now this is actually the second time we bought a rig from Camping World. Back in 2018, we bought our Heartland Mallard, and that process was okay. They tried to do some shenanigans at finance time, which we weren't really thrilled about, but otherwise the process wasn't that bad, and the camper actually ended up being a really good camper. Never had to bring it back for anything. But this Camping World is at a different location. This is up in Hugo, Minnesota. Previously we bought at Monticello, and the initial purchase at the show wasn't that bad, but then when we had our appointment for the walkthrough, we had a specific time set up, and we still sat in their lobby for like 45 minutes. And I made an appointment today for 11 o'clock for our pickup, and I get back to the service area and they're helping somebody else. I had to wait like 10 plus minutes, and then find out that we weren't even on the books, so they didn't even know where the camper is. They got to get somebody to go get it, pull it out front. So yeah, so far not like super thrilled with the delivery process at Camping World. All right, looks like they just pulled it up front, so we'll back it up, and then we got to install our hitch. All right, here she is. All right, first thing we're gonna do is put our ball in. I actually am using the ball from our Grand Design. Bought the same hitch for both rigs, and then we'll have to do install on the frame, and shouldn't take too long, maybe 20 minutes or so. Should be good to go. So on our Imagine, we have an Anderson weight distribution system, and we're super happy with it. So we went with the same thing for the Flagstaff here. Read through the instructions last night, and I've done this before. It's been a couple years, but this should only take 10 minutes or so. Okay, we are all hooked up. We'll do a full walk around tour later. They're kind of busy right now. It's a Saturday. A lot of people here picking up their stuff. Just wanted to do a quick walk around, make sure nothing has been damaged or changed since our walkthrough that we did, almost a month and a half ago. I don't know if we're 100% level front to back. I'm just going off the measurements from our Grand Design, but it looks like we're pretty close. We'll get that all dialed in when we get home. Otherwise, let's head on out. That's a big camper to be pulling with a half ton. All right, here we go. I've been really excited to see how this thing tows. It should tow pretty smooth. Number one, it's not a really big camper. It's only 22 feet, 4 inches long. And it doesn't have your standard solid axles with leaf springs. This has a torsion system, which I'm not an expert, but from my understanding, it's kind of like an axle surrounded by rubber bushings inside of like a square tubing. Allegedly, should give it a lot smoother ride. We'll see. We're gonna be on the freeway here in a few minutes.
You got still about 10 more feet. Straighten out completely. You're right on the edge of the... 2 more feet. 3 more feet. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, there you go. I think that's where you wanted it.
Well, we got her home. Yeah, she drove really nice on the freeway. Very solid, smooth. We even had a good crosswind and it felt really stable. So now the fun part, finding places to store all our gear. This one's set up a little different. On our Grand Design, we just had one big, huge front pass-through storage. This one's a little goofy. This would be where the Murphy bed is. So the front storage isn't that great and it's kind of got a weird angle to it, but there's also a lot of other places to store stuff. You got this side compartment here that's narrow and really tall. And then you got this area here. It's kind of weird, it's carpeted, but they have the outdoor griddle in there, power cord, and then there's some spots on the other side. So we're gonna start figuring out where everything needs to go. I think this compartment here is gonna be perfect for chairs. Yep, I put a rug in there too. Also working on a power issue here. They put these dual batteries in when we did our walk around about 2 months ago. So it's just been sitting on their lot. There must have been a draw on it or something, because already by the time we got home, there wasn't enough power to even put the power tongue jack on. These do have like a remote emergency way to put them down. Hopefully we can charge those back up and they weren't damaged from going so low. Okay, I think I have a general idea how I want to get this outside stuff organized. Up front here, we're going to be doing like leveling stuff and the hitch and whatnot. This has a griddle and table that attach on the back here. I'm going to store that up front. And then on this side, got fresh water, electrical, extra black tank stuff. I got the main hose and the bumper. Trying out some different gear this year too. I got these flexible bags that are labeled. That might come in handy because we're going to be renting this out obviously as well. Yeah, this seems like a good spot for the chairs. Ended up putting our outdoor rug in here. And even though this doesn't have the big pass-through like our Imagine does, because it has so many different compartments, it actually has a lot more storage than I thought. Otherwise, there's still some more gear we need to get. Jamie's going to be doing the inside, and we got our first camping trip next weekend. We really need to get this thing sorted out and get ourselves familiar with it because we have our first rental first week in May. And I think on that trip, I'm going to go through all the gear we got and kind of put a cost on what it takes to start up if you get a new camper, and I'll go over why we got specific things this year. In the meantime, a couple upgrades I'm going to do this week. I'm going to replace that breakaway cable with one of these bungee cords. Those are always nice. I like to put a nice spray polish, a coat of wax on the front, keep it nice, clean and shiny. Also helps keep the bugs from sticking. And an electronic door lock, we're going to install that too. Otherwise, that's day one with the new camper.